Ah, fair enough.
Right? We would have involved
Just
him.
To mess with my
Yeah,
stuff on my end.
I don't know. Did somebody push you over recently?
No, the
Sorry.
first like
Okay, it's been the long-awaited return of the MG4T podcast. We've been on a little hiatus. There's been a lot going on, but we are back, and we have a new member with us today, who hopefully will be diving into the world of D&D with us. You know him, you love him. It's our resident Nightbeard.
Great dude.
Yeah, I don't know so much about the love after the recent TPKs that I've been dishing out, but yeah, it's all that's what we're talking about today, isn't it? About the new rules and how easy it is for DMs to TPK parties.
Nice. I mean, that's what it's all about. I think we needed to have that little shift of power.
Absolutely. The new rules are going to be huge. I really think, aside from the AI scandal that we're going to touch on later today, I really think like this new chapter moving forward is going to let a lot of new people in and rebalance the game in a great way.
Yeah. So today we got me, DM Phase. We got Matt and Nightbeard today to talk about the shift and the AI scandal and the Wizard of the Coast updates on the D&D player's handbook and rules. So we're going to look at some topics today, looking at switches from race to species, controversy surrounding the use of AI and some creation of the new content. And yeah, so we're going to deep dive into the changes today. So yeah, let's start by first saying a welcome to Nightbeard. You are being a long-running member of the server, run a lot of games for us, which I've heard really good things. I will be joining one as well myself tomorrow, which is exciting stuff. So I'm gonna make sure I've got a nice bottle of wine ready for the TPK that's coming my way.
No, it's
Yeah,
long
thank
overdue
you.
to get you more involved, Nightbeard. You've been an asset to the server and the community, and it's great to have you on board fully as a member here with us.
I appreciate it, guys, and I think you were my first two DMs that I started with ever. So yeah, so it's an honor for me to be here with you guys. It's really cool.
Yeah, nice. So let's have a look. So we're basically going to start by unpacking the new rules. So I personally haven't had a chance to really look at it. So you guys are going to be walking me through. So I'm going to be the new guy saying, right, well, I've just learned the original rules of D&D 5e. What's changed? So let's have a look at some of the biggest rule changes that are going to implement players moving forward that have been so used to 5e. What's the big reasons of the changes? What's happened?
So I think it's twofold. They're modernizing the game and making it accessible to more people, which is awesome. And they're trying to pull some of the influence of the word race off of the game. You're no longer going to get these racial bonuses from picking a dragonborn or picking a tiefling or a dwarf. Those are all now going to be moved from your background. So it allows a lot more customizability, and it also doesn't play on the race word as much. They're kind of softening the game for a new era.
So basically, making it an easier game to play. I don't know if anyone played World of Warcraft, but they really nerfed all the classes, made it all very easy to play. I like to reference World of Warcraft in my D&D podcast for some reason.
Hey,
If you're
let's do
listening,
it.
Blizzard could use some sponsorship money. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it basically making it
those ad
more
options are
accessible.
available. World of Warcraft, if you want to throw us a little sponsorship.
I mean, I'm open to it. So what? Let's have a look at the first point that I've got here. So we're looking at streamlined spellcasting mechanics. What does that mean? What's that? What does that entail?
So a lot of the spell casting has been buffed. Some of it's been nerfed. The big one that stands out to me is the cleric spell Spirit Weapon. It used to be a one-time cast, and when I played cleric, it was my opener was Spiritual Weapon and Spiritual Guardians, and then run into the middle of the fray. You can no longer do that. They're now both concentration spells, and as we all know, you can't have two con spells up at the same time.
So hang on. So what was spiritual weapon not a concentration spell before?
It was not. It was just a single time blast. They're kind of standardizing what concentration is, as well as kind of power balancing all the spells. Because with spiritual weapon, it was broken.
It was 100%.
Yeah, it was beyond. It was beyond broken. It was so bad.
Yeah. They're trying to just balance it out, make it easier and more streamlined in the sense that a player can just look and be like, okay, I feel like all of these should be concentration. Oh, wait, look at the rules. I'm right. And it kind of validates that player agency and your gut instinct a little more.
I'd like to say as well, I mean, I have noticed in a few things that I have read that, and I always thought that this needed to be buffed, and that was the healing spells, because I think if you're going to use a spell that is going to use your action as a caster to heal another player, you should be getting a little bit more of a bonus. And I think before it was a little bit underwhelming how much you could heal. What can you tell us about the healing increases?
So the biggest one that stands out to me is it's always been a house rule and a table rule at most parties I've played in. But it's now official D&D rule that you can drink a healing potion as a bonus action.
Ah, nice.
I mean, I've table ruled that to be that way for years. FaZe, I think I've seen your games. You've done something similar, but now it is official rules.
It's officially a bonus action. So you can be swatting away an enemy whilst necking a potion at the same time, and that's what it's all about. I mean, that's how I would roll if I was doing that.
I mean, Nightbeard, I think I've seen your games. You do something similar as well. You've house ruled to try to help this healing issue, but now it's canon. It's how the game's officially played.
Yeah, I think I think part of this whole spellcasting thing, and especially when it gets to the healing, is how, you know, some of the races also have not only the spellcasting healing and potion healing, but they've got the ability healing in as well, which is really cool. And that kind of changes the dynamic a little bit, because it's no longer just a, you know, we're going to get right here, we're going to get you, you know, the DM's going to kill, the creature's going to kill you. You've got the backup. You've got a constant. Yeah. We'll we'll still try, but yeah, I think it's really cool, and I think that the spellcasting things it's overdue. I mean, 5e, we've seen some really broken characters with a whole bunch of spell combos that drove some DMs absolutely up the wall. So I really think it's time for that rebalance, and it came just at the right time, I think.
The only spell that I don't think was rebalanced well was I don't know if anybody's seen the text on Summon Elemental in the new rulebook. It's bad. It's bad.
So, moving on from the spellcasting, I mean, we can touch on it a little bit more. And I feel like we've already done a lot of work towards the classes already, but I suppose there's been a lot of changes that we might have to touch on the classes that we've already done. But what are the revised combat rules? So there's a simplifying of actions, reactions.
So that it's kind of just streamlining again. Whereas instead of multi-attack taking the attack action, you need to then do this, and this to be able to get 2 attacks. Or if you have multi-attack and you're Dragonborn, you can't use your breath weapon and swing your battle axe. Now you can. They're really just trying to make it more player friendly and let more people engage in this hobby and this community.
And that's I mean, that's always a good thing. Have you noticed anything like that in your games, Nightbeard?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is getting over the action, the bit of the change in how they rule the actions. So your action table as it is now is the influence has actually become an action, a bona fide action, which is the charisma or wisdom save, wisdom roll for animal handling. And that's really kind of, it's defined now. So like Matt was saying earlier about having defined rules actually makes it a little bit easier for especially new players and new DMs as well.
And have you found running games now? As you know, you're quite versed in it, I guess.
So Nightbeard was in my first 5.5 game on Tuesday afternoon. I am a big fan of the new rules. I've got some feelings about how Roll20 is handling the implementation of it, but rules is written, I'm a fan of the change.
Yeah, I'm also quite a fan. I've been playing with most of the rules, like the ability, especially the ability to draw and sheath weapons on the fly without that costing an action now.
So
I've been playing like that as a
got...
table rule from the start.
So if you're wielding your warhammer, you can then put that away, grab out a rapier, for example, and that won't cost any action.
Yeah, that's a free
not
action
going to cost
now under
you
the new rules.
That's not going to cost you anything. I think the only thing of the lot that costs an action now is actually putting up a shield. I think that's the only one that really costs an action, but the rest is free to switch your weapons around, which is awesome.
Nightbeard, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the shield takes a full action. I think that's a bonus action.
I'm not 100% certain, so I mean, my players don't normally drop their shields. Yeah, my players are very clever not to drop their shields because they know the big hit's coming any moment.
I need to take that into consideration.
I'll need to check up on that one.
I'm sorry, you guys were both talking. I couldn't hear either of you there.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, real quickly, we'll move on to the next one. What would you say that the major changes in the class abilities have been? Are there classes that have become more balanced from this new rule set?
Yes and no. Your clerics and your warlocks and the like, you don't get your subclass to level 3 like the other classes now, which I feel canonically is weird. Because, like, how are you a warlock with pack magic if you don't know who you signed a contract with? Just throwing that out there. But aside from that issue, I feel like they balanced them all back out. Your martial players are more valuable in combat now and can hold their own long game longer than they could in original 5e. And your casters are still the powerhouses that they were, but there's no longer that massive power gap once you hit like level 7 or 8 that makes playing a martial character useless.
Nice.
Yeah, I think the cleric is definitely one that's been a little bit boosted and improved a bit. Clerics used to always hang back quite a lot, do the ranged healing, all that kind of stuff, guiding bolts, the lot. And now suddenly they can really get into the fray with really good, they can put on armor now if they take, I think it's the war domain, where they can actually like put on heavy armor and they can actually get right into the fray, right next to the barbarian, do melee attacks and do healing at the same time, which is fantastic. So I think that might be just the most broken character at this stage.
Hey, thank you, King.
In the new rules.
Awesome. Sorry. I just saw chat. I had to thank Kingu.
Oh yeah, thank you for the bits, Kingu. Lovely. Yes. So I don't know. Obviously, I haven't upgraded my game to the new rules yet, so I can't answer and say whether it's going to be something that's harder for me as a DM. But from the sounds of it, it's going to be much of the same. It's going to be a lot more benefits for the players. But we just need to be harder as DMs to try and kill our players. I think that's all that boils down to.
I mean, if Roll20 wouldn't make their character sheet stupid and I could actually homebrew monsters again, I could kill my players, but Roll20 dropped the ball.
Well, I haven't had the issues of not being able to kill players recently, so I think I've been too successful, and I might need to dial it back a bit. But
Well, you've got till tomorrow.
Yeah, Nightbeard, I might have to
Yeah.
hop into one of your games here coming up.
Yeah, no, you're more than welcome. I'm busy writing a new mini series as well. So yeah, no, jump in when you get a chance. But yeah, I think for me personally, I don't think the new rules have made it harder to DM, Kingu. I enjoy it. It's very intuitive. I don't know if we're going to get to it later. The only thing that's a little bit tricky is when it comes to the weapon mastery components of
Yes.
of the new rules. But otherwise, it's really great. I'm loving it.
No, I'm a huge fan of the new rules, and as a DM, I think it's going to make my life easier. Honestly, my players are going to need less support. They're going to be more able to just create and decide things on their own. It's really going to make my life easier, I believe.
Nice. Oh, I've lost your camera.
Oh, yeah, my Streamlabs just freaked out for a second. It's back on my end. Do you have it?
No. But let's go into the next talking point while I try and sort that out. So, let's have a look at, do these changes, do you think, will impact the way players are going to approach the character creation? So, are they going to be, I mean, multi-classing, I think now is going to be a lot more involved, and a lot more something that people need to consider more when making a character. Do you feel like these new rules are going to increase players taking advantage of making a character that's going to be quite intense?
I think taking advantage is the wrong word. I think we're going to see a lot more customizability in player characters. I know, at least personally, when I used to create a character in 5e, I would build it all around the race so I could get specific boosts and buffs. Now that that's taken away, I can use that race as more of a flavor, or I guess species now. I can use that as more of a flavor thing, not a min-maxing thing. So you're going to see a lot of lesser played races come to the forefront as people enjoy the flavor of them and don't need to worry about their buffs. I really think we're going to see a lot more interesting player characters out of this.
Yeah, I think I'm really not the min-maxing person. I think I've got a barbarian with a -1 strength.
Your
and I think that
your barbarian is so underwhelming.
yeah, I think it's going to just take a short while for players to get used to the rules and how to get the best combinations out of the different species and classes now. But I think, before the end of this year, we'll be seeing some pretty good min-maxed characters, and yeah, good games coming from that as well.
And honestly, I've got a character that I really want to play. Because of the backwards compatibility, my Eberron Bugbear is still usable in 5.5, which lets me take the buffs of their sneaky and long reach and then use the background to buff my stats, which really lets me play with some crazy stuff. I've got a hell of a bugbear. One of you two are going to become the victim of it at some point.
Oh, I can't wait.
Bring it on.
Right. have you seen any feedback? I mean, what's the generalized feedback from the D&D community at the moment, showing about these rule changes so far? Has it been positive? Has it been negative? Has it been neutral? Where are they with that?
I think the new rules are being overshadowed by what Cox said at that meeting, and we're kind of not looking at the rules because we want to be mad at Cox, which I completely understand the community's sentiment on. But I don't think the rules themselves are being talked about because of the stupid statements he made.
What do you make of that, Nightbeard?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's been overwhelmingly positive from my experience. The people I've been speaking to, the people, especially down here on the southern tip of Africa, representing.
Yeah.
It's it's such
We're all
a
inclusive at Mythic
relatively
Guilds. I'm just saying.
so it's a relatively small D&D community down here. So any attention we get, any attention, any chance to play, it's we grab it. So we're not going to cause too much issues with whether it's 5e and 5.5 or 2024 and the different rules. We just want to play. I think that's what it comes down to. So I think it's been interesting. The players I've had in the games are taking it on. They really enjoying it and really engaging with the rules and learning together is really great. So it's been positive for me so far.
See, living on the East Coast of America, you and I have a very different experience. I can tell. We have a whole different sentiment where I'm from.
Yeah, but you've also got first world problems, and not like we do down here.
I agree. Now, I would say the changes that surprised me, and I think what overdrew would be probably the healing side of things. I think healing has, to this point on 5e, been very underrated. You don't really want to waste a go trying to heal for very little. Bonus action healing is fantastic. What about yourselves? Is there anything that you feel should have been brought in a lot sooner, or do you feel that it's been pretty balanced thus far?
I feel like it's a good balance, and these new rules are needed. And I think they maybe missed the ball by like 6 to 10 months, but nothing crazy. This balance is going to make the game better, both for new players and veteran players. And I mean, hindsight, yeah, I wish we had it 10 years ago, but we didn't, and we have to do the best with what we have,
That's where we are now, yeah. What about yourself?
I think the balance is really great. I think that I don't have the history with D&D, so I don't have the 3E and advanced D&D background, but I've been very pleasantly surprised at how well they were able to balance this, and I think also the strategy that they have to roll out the game in the way that they've done it. So to bring out the player handbook, then to be able to tweak a little bit of the rules before the DM guide comes out in November, and then to be able to also capitalize on how players are playing before they bring out the monster manual finally in February next year. I think that it allows them the ability to tweak and to find gaps and to really balance the game for the longer run, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, and that's something to get behind.
Yeah, no, it's.
Oh yeah,
I really
for sure.
think they've thought out how they were going to do this really well, and they made a great stab at how they're releasing this.
Nice.
Yeah, I think what really pleasantly surprised me is a lot of people before the book came out, they were saying that it's just going to contain content of Tasha's Cauldron and Xanthas and the whole bunch of different source books that everybody was using, but they've actually really gone and tweaked with what worked well from those, and they really brought out those strengths. I think that the balance is really good. There are going to be the challenges. Let's also be honest with each other here. there are going to be challenges. There's going to be one or two things that it doesn't quite work. But I mean, so did the monk when it first came out. It wasn't the best character.
Wasn't
So,
well received.
I mean,
yeah. So people learn to play with it, and
clung to 3.5 tooth and nail until 18 months ago.
yeah, well,
And
I'm happy.
Rules. I love how they're doing this, but we will have people like me that cling to the old rule set.
They're committed to the old ways.
Exactly. Worship the old gods.
Yeah, speaking of the old ways, there's no ways, and sorry, this is just one thing in terms of balance. I cannot, and maybe this needs to be the whole topic of a whole podcast, but I do not like firearms in any of my D&D games.
Yeah, that's a very contentious point, and I think you get a 50% backing, and you get a 50% people that are saying no, we want to be able to do that. I think with that, it's all down to the setting of your world.
If we can derail for the firearm conversation, because I love this argument.
We'll have a whole podcast dedicated to it, I promise.
Because I love this argument, and I have a very unpopular opinion in this one, and might as well put my hot takes online, right?
Yeah. Do it.
I'm a fan of it.
Right, and that's when Matt got banned from the podcast.
No, like in my Tuesday night game, my Voices in the Wind campaign, my artificer has a machine gun. Not like a bolt action or flintlock rifle. He has a full-blown machine
So he's
gun.
going... Brr, brr.
Yeah, we've got this little gnome walking around with like a Gatling gun.
I really want him to be wearing gang colours as well, like just purple headband for no reason.
Are you taking notes, FaZe, for Tybalt for Tuesday? Gatling gun. He's going to find one in a crate somewhere, right?
He's definitely not doing that.
I was going to say, I can send you the stat block for the Eldritch machine gun.
You can send them over. I will put them straight in the recycle bin.
Okay,
right. Anyway,
sorry.
We got a little
digress.
bit off topic there. So yeah, this.
All that means is the three of us mesh well. If we can derail like that, that's a good sign.
I'm all for. Yeah, this is going to go well forward. Do you think these changes will make D&D more or less enjoyable for long-term players? So, do you think that the long-term players that are real stuck in the old ways are going to enjoy these changes, or do you think it's going to disband the old community?
So I think we're going to lose a couple of the old timers, people that are clinging to the like racial bonuses and some of the more old school rules. We're going to get some back. But I think long term, it's going to open the hobby up and bring in more people than we lose. I genuinely believe overall it's going to be a positive for the community.
Yeah, definitely agree on that. I think what you also need to keep in mind is you can still have your house rules. You can still do homebrew. It's not excluding that. So if you do have a group of old timers and you do want to still play, advanced D&D or 3.5, for the really old folk, 3.5.
So now you're just throwing shade. Okay.
So if you do want to play that, you can always bring in elements of that into the new rules. And that's what makes the new rules so great for me, is that it really enables you to get so much more depth out the game while simplifying it at the same time. I really can't get over this, how absolutely well they put together in my mind.
No, I'm loving how 5.5 is doing this. Nightbird's 100% right. Like, all of my old content, even in Roll20, all of my manuals still mesh in, even with the character manager on Roll20. Like, I didn't lose any content. All I did was gain more content.
Yeah, nice. I myself, I've only ever seen, as like with Nightbird, I'm a fresh D&D player, a fresh DM. So 5e was my go-to. from what I've seen so far, it's like with anything, like a game with an update, it's taking out what didn't work, increasing stuff that does work that people have resonated well with. I feel that if old style players are going to find problems with that, then that's a problem with them. As you say, you can make a game based on your rules, so that's the beauty of it. You can see these new rules, but you can say, well, do you know what, I'm going to play a game that's 3.5 because you can if you want. The only downside I've seen is that obviously D&D Beyond have taken away or I've updated it, and it says if you do not back up certain things, you will lose them items.
Which I'm not a fan of that. Anytime a corporation takes something away from us, I get kind of fussy. I feel like that's capitalism while being a dick.
It's been a bit
That's not
oppressive.
okay. I really feel like if you have something, it is yours. They shouldn't be able to take it away.
Yeah. I think what they did really well as well, and I do want to give them kudos for that, is the moment that there was a bit of a upset community, throw a tantrum kind of thing, a rage bonus modifier to to the D&D Beyond character sheet. The moment that the community spoke up, they were very quick to react and said, you know what, we will give you the option to still have both the 2024 and the 2014 rules. So they are quick.
Actually listened. That was huge.
Yeah, and I think that we need to give credit where it's due, to really, for an organization to, in the midst of rolling out probably their biggest thing in the last 15 years,
I'd agree with that.
for them to midstream just go, oh, you know what, yeah, okay, we can make these tweaks. That is brilliant.
We're going back to Sonic film, Sonic movie, where the community said, no, you are not making Sonic look like that. Fucking try again.
We bullied a movie studio. What makes you think the internet can't bully Wizards of the Coast?
What were those teeth about? I mean, this is
okay. So we're renaming the podcast Sonic Discussions.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I really think for a corporation like that, and I think that Matt, for them to also be willing to still just give you that warning and say, hey, look, you may lose things right now, but I'm sure that they've got a backup plan, and to say, how can we bring these things back again that the people are losing? So I wouldn't put that beyond them.
I
think they
the
do.
way they publicized the you're gonna lose things, not the we're working on patching this and there might be a glitch. I think it was just poor phrasing on their end.
Definitely. I mean, Wizards of the Coast, if you need a new comms person, yeah, I'm here. But that being said, it's I also do want to say the community is, especially in the media side, they can get carried away a bit and misinterpret, and when emotions run high and hot, people do misinterpret things a lot easier. So the comms could have been a bit better on that, and the phrasing and all of that stuff. But yeah, I'm not fussed. I'm not going to lose thousands of dollars worth of stuff on
all my stuff's on
BTT.
Roll20, so literally D&D Beyond can do whatever they want and it will not affect me. So
but yeah, I mean, you can save them thousands of dollars worth of stuff for the Mythic Guild's shop. Buy some dice. Right, so let's have a look at what's the purpose of shifting race to species. What's the implications of it?
I think changing the word was a societal thing. At least here in America, there are huge race relation discussions going on right now, and I think they just wanted to get away from that word, and then moving those like background bonus points into your background, not your race, just gave the players more agency. So I think it was both ease of use for the player and a political move.
Definitely, 100% agree.
So what does that mean though? So so is there any different, or is it just the terminology?
So, in original 5e rules, if I made, and we're gonna go pre-Tasha, we're gonna rewind to like original 2014 handbook here. Um, if I would have made a Dragonborn, I would have gotten a +2 to Charisma and a +1 to Dexterity.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was playing a Bard or a Warlock, that would be a class, or that would be a race that would be very interesting to me because of their boosts. Now I can take a Dragonborn because I like the look of them and use my background bonuses to, okay, now I need my +2 to Charisma or my +1. I want it in strength, not dex.
Mm.
And it allows the player to have a lot more customizability in what they look like and how their character behaves.
Okay.
Yeah. That's great. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving the customizability of the different characters.
No,
It's
I'm
really
a big
fun.
fan. And anytime a player has more agency in who they're playing, I love it. It's great to me. As FaZe and I have said multiple times on previous episodes, this whole game's about the players having a good time. And giving them more freedom and more customizability just makes the whole game and community better.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So is there any reaction to this change from the community, or is everyone pretty much positive about it?
I'm seeing mixed reviews. Primarily, everybody's positive, but I am seeing some rumblings, and I think it's going to poke at our next topic. But there were some things said at some corporate events that people heard, and I don't think interpreted correctly, and they're using that as an outlet, like using the new rules as an outlet for their frustrations on some misquotes. Long term, I feel like it's going to be completely positive.
Okay. So that would lead us on to our next segment, which is the Wizards of the Coast AI scandal. Unless they want to sponsor us, in which case we will completely block this section out. So let's have a quick look at the recent controversy over the Wizards of the Coast's use of AI in the creation of content. How was that uncovered?
So it was a private corporate event for some like big CEOs and executives, and somebody leaked a comment from Cox about his use of AI in D&D and moving forward. And depending on how you interpret that quote, it's either a really good thing or a horrifyingly bad thing. I tend to think it's a good thing. They're using a proprietary AI that has all 50 years of D&D's lore and everything in it. He says they're using it as a supplement to aid writers and lore creators. If it's being supplemental, I'm a fan of it and I'm okay with it. But if it's using to replace those writers or replace a dungeon master and take some of that agency away from the community, I will not stand for it.
No, and I think for me as well, like obviously AI is no matter what we think, it's here. It's gonna be a massive part of moving forward, and it will be a massive part in D&D. I think.
I use AI in my professional life all the time.
Character creation, artworks, it's gonna explode. We have got, for me, I mean, personally, I think if you could get to the point where you could tailor an AI agent or DM to replicate your thought processes for players that cannot get through games, maybe a play by post sort of game would be quite useful for it. I know what you're saying, and I don't think it should take over the DMing stage of running games, but I think as it gets more and more advanced, it could replicate someone. So if people are desperate again, like in our server, we have plenty of people there that are desperate for games, not enough DMs. That it might be a nice little, maybe one shot for people to try out how D&D works. Give them the sort of course on, or introduce them into the game. I don't think it's something that we should shy away from initially, but I get where you're coming from. It shouldn't replace Like,
So my concern is in this statement about his use of AI and their integration into their marketing system or whatever. Uh, he keeps saying he wants to monetize every corner of D&D.
yeah, well, that's
And
not really good.
I feel like if they're going to charge for professional DMing on their VTT and they're going to use artificial intelligence to kind of replace that and monetize that portion of the game, that's not the right way to build a community.
No, no,
Uh,
100% agree on that.
that's my fear is monetization and being predatory. I think D&D is a game for everybody, and it shouldn't be monetized to the point
No,
where
and
the
agreed.
layman can't get in.
But
Yeah.
on the flip
So
side, that what I'm saying is, if we could get an AI that could run a game for a group of 4 players, for example, that could run it to a sort of level that not necessarily the level that you and I would run, us three, because we are superior DMs, but to at least give people an introductory game.
Mythic Guild's name,
Yeah.
right?
can I jump in here? And
Yeah,
I
go,
think,
go.
I think that both of you do have very valid points. And I think FaZe, if you do want to have a AI DM, go buy yourself Baldur's Gate and play with a bunch of friends online. I'm sorry, but the whole thing about, I mean, already playing, like, we all DM online with VTTs, even that for really hardcore D&D fans is
A no-no.
sacrilege, because
Yeah.
it's got to be around a table. And I think that we have to accept that, the like what Matt says, the big part of D&D is that human interaction.
Yeah.
Now, with all the freaking law that exists, how yes to using AI to keep track of it and to integrate it into storylines for
Oh,
new
I'm having a bit of
campaigns.
trouble hearing you
I'm
there.
all for. I am all for that, 100%.
You went a bit choppy there.
I'm with you. If I had an AI on my computer right here, that I could be like, hey, my domain is 70,000 pages of lore. I type in insert Duke's name and it just auto-populates the lore. I love that. That would be huge in that game.
Yeah, I mean, further to my point, I mean, I'm not saying AI should replace DMs, but it might be nice for people that can't get a game to try and experience or get to grips with the game, to run one with it. I'm 100% what you're saying. It's a group adventure. I've had some of the most funniest interactions with my players based on my mindset and how I think things go. And I don't think an AI would be able to ever replicate that. But what I'm saying is that you could use it to enhance games moving forward.
Use it as a not a replacement. I think that's
You're a bit sorry.
sustainable
I'm
AI
I don't know if it's replicating on the stream, but I'm having a real hard time hearing you.
I am hearing you guys fine, but
Yeah,
for
that's
some
better.
reason,
That's
it
better.
cut my camera out of Streamlabs.
Kicked you out again.
Right? It's just like, nope, this ginger is not allowed on camera. Keep off the internet.
It's clearly Wizards of the Coast has some influence over wherever you stay. They're not.
Hey, the
Yeah,
last
you
time
see that red dot coming through your window right now.
Hey, don't scare me. The Wizards have sent Pinkertons after people before.
Oh,
Don't put that juju on me.
Yeah, E2, that was quite robotic. I mean, it's the AI taking over, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
that's it.
singularity.
We have been censored. We've been censored. So
Yeah, I think the gist of it is that I think we all agree, right, that AI is a great tool, like E2 says as well. It's a tool.
Right.
And we should use it responsibly. It's just another tool in the toolbox, but it should never be
a complete
the
replacement.
artisan.
Mm,
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I think we all
all
three of us
think
as
that
DMs
these
agree
things
on that.
are words. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page. We're just saying it different ways, and
Yeah.
we got different emotional feelings about how it should be used.
No, I completely agree with both of you on that. So now the big point is, what has been the community's reaction to using the AI?
They are furious. If you check out YouTube videos. They're talking about this AI scandal like it's worse than the OGL scandal a couple years ago. I don't think that's an accurate or fair interpretation.
AI gate.
Yeah, I mean, removing the OGL was insane and horrible. This is just a blundered misquote, and I really don't think they're going to do what it sounds like they're going to do, if that makes sense. I might be giving them more credit than they deserve, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as people say it is, where AI is going to be writing the new modules, or AI is going to be replacing their writing staff. Like, I don't see that happening, because as a corporation, you'd be stupid to do that, especially in today's society. The community will just abandon you.
Yeah, I really do think that this is very much just a storm in a teacup. And I think that people are really upset about this for the wrong reasons. I think that they are very much projecting their fear of AI and the ability of AI to do the tasks that they do, instead of using it and embracing AI and saying, well, how can I as an individual evolve with AI and take it forward in what I do? So, like you, Matt, you and I both use AI in our daily lives. I mean,
I use it all the time. I couldn't do my job without it.
It is fantastic. It really streamlines a lot of processes. And I think that what Wizards is doing is they are using a proprietary AI. So it's this thing is trained to know what works for D&D and what D&D fans like.
Yeah, it's not like they're using ChatGPT. It's a proprietary D&D AI.
It's like it's a closed system.
Not talked about as much. Thank you. Exactly. It's a closed system they built for this community. I think
it's purpose built.
It's more.
And I think that the community is just getting really up in arms. And unfortunately, in today's age where you have so many influencers, and I say influencers very loosely here, people chasing likes and chasing monetization of their streams and chasing clicks on TikTok and whatever the case is, they are going to say things that have absolutely no basis if they're going to get the views. And that's how all this misinformation spreads. So yeah, I think it's all just a storm in a teacup personally. And I'm looking forward to the products that they're going to bring out using this, because freaking hell, if they can incorporate all those all that lore into their games, why not?
Yeah,
right. And I mean, you guys have both played my games. How many times do I personally pull a character or a monster out of 2nd edition or 3rd edition and manually translate it into the new game? If I have an AI that can just do that, do you realize how crazy I can make my interactions? And like, I'll have so much more time to make the interaction tailored if that AI is available to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I've added you back to stream, Matt, and you're echoing.
There we go.
That's better.
You'll just need to do your dragon a little bit better, that we don't kill it in 3 rounds.
Right? No, I was impressed. You guys mobbed that thing. That was impressive.
No, nice. Lastly, on the back of this point, what has been Wizards of the Coast response to the backlash? I mean, have they responded well, or have they just ignored it and said, well, fuck you?
They're basically saying what we're saying. AI is here to stay. We can embrace it or die. And the community is, like Nightbeard said, just looking for things to get mad about and looking for things to get people to click on. Personally, from what has been said, I don't think Wizards has crossed a line. I think they're trying to do the best for the community in the game as they can. And I think they're handling it well. It's just the public gets angry and anger sells. So that's all people are going to talk about.
Nice. Anything to add on the back of AI? Anything we haven't touched upon there?
Just as a blanket statement to everybody on the internet listening, I like AI. If it's used to help people, not replace people, I'm an absolute fan of it. And anybody that doesn't agree with that, fight me in the comments.
Fuck self-checkout tills. Fuck you, self-checkout tills. You're the ones that are doing the damage.
Yeah, I think I really think that I, coming from a country that's got really high levels of unemployment, and I mean really high levels, I can completely understand. But if you're sitting in, a job where you're earning, 60,000 US dollars in a year, you really shouldn't be worried about AI. They're not coming for your jobs. And I think that this is what a lot of people are misinterpreting, and a lot of people are just really doing knee-jerk reactions to this.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think there's always going to be that because we've seen it throughout the last few 10 years at least, where computers have replaced a lot of people's jobs. They took out jobs. People are gonna be
5
resistant
years
to it.
ago, it was 5G that everybody was afraid of. Didn't they think 5G caused the pandemic? Like,
Yeah,
wasn't that
well,
a thing?
Oh yeah,
that's another
dude, don't get me.
podcast.
Yeah, don't get me
Technology is always-
started.
New technology is always scary to some people.
Yeah.
You can embrace it or you can't. It's up to you. Make your own decisions. We're not telling you what to do. I just like it, and I figure if we embrace it, my personal life and this community can both get better.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel moving forward, we've got a really positive world coming ahead of us, especially in the D&D world. AI has helped me immensely in designing some of my scenarios. So yeah, I think that is going to be something that's going to be a big asset.
Yeah, no, I'm Team Pro AI.
Yep.
Fight me in the comments again. Come on, guys. I'm waiting for it. Fight me in the comments.
We're now back as a podcast. We will be back I believe we're going to be doing it every 2 weeks again.
Yes, every 2 weeks on Thursdays.
I'm really pleased to announce that, and hopefully Nightbeard will be joining us moving forward. We'd really like to sort of do a big thank you for joining us at such a short notice tonight. But
it's a pleasure, man.
as I said, we will be moving forward as a threesome again.
There we go. I like it.
And yeah, we're gonna get his face on the stream if anyone watches the stream, because we need to see how beautiful he is.
We'll see how many subscribers I get on my stream first, and then we can discuss this.
But yeah, I feel like that's a good place to.
You too. You're not supposed to agree with me in the comments. I'm looking to fight somebody in the comments. Get those interactions up. Come on, dude.
Yeah. So obviously we have a server. If you go onto Discord, anyone listening that is interested in D&D, wants to get involved, wants to learn, wants to find out what AI can do for you, just find us on the Discord servers under Mythic Guilds. We also have a website, www.mythicguilds.com, where you can get involved. You can buy your D&D related merchandise. As Nightbeard will tell you, he'll be getting a set of dice soon that he will love and cherish forever.
The international.
I just popped merch into the mail this morning. Actually, got back from the post a couple hours ago.
But yeah,
so the international shipping is real, yo. It's real.
It happens.
Yes,
it
we're
exists.
getting them from the east coast of the U.S. to South Africa for less than $18.
That is a steal. But yeah, I think that's a good place to call it there, because we were literally coming on an hour. I really appreciate everyone that's listened tonight, or anyone's listening online. Please come visit us at Mythic Guilds. Love to have you there. Lots of adventurers going out every day, every week. Nightbeard will try and kill you. Bring it on, is what I say. But yes, anything else to add, guys?
No, other than in 2 weeks, we will be going back through and redoing some of our old episodes to update them to the new rules.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see another Marshall vs. Caster episode, it is not a rerun. We are updating things to the new rules, so there will be a little bit of backtracking here as we rebuild this how-to play guide.
Perfect. Lovely.
Yeah.
So this has been Tactics, Tales, Triumphs, and Traps. I've been your host, DM FaZe.
I'm Matt. I'm the ugliest ginger you guys have ever seen on the internet.
He's gorgeous. Don't say that.
Yeah, and I'm not beard. I'm so ugly I won't even show my face. So we'll keep it at that.
Really appreciate your time, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in again. We'll be back soon. And yeah, that'll be us done.
Have a great night, guys.